Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today, as you guys are getting a phenomenal double upload today. So make sure you guys are going through this entire video, and later on tonight there is going to be the preview to Wolves versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. I know it's not the most exciting match preview, let's be honest, but it's a competition and it's something that we should aim to go and win. And it means we have to get past the worst team in the Premier League right now, which on paper looks fantastic, but you know what we're like. We like to be charitable, and I think we've done that pretty much a lot of times this season already and in the past. So tune into the preview and see exactly where my head is at in relation to this game, Wolves versus Chelsea. So make sure you're here later on tonight. Subscribe, notification bell on to be notified once that gets uploaded too. Now, you're getting a double upload today, because yesterday there wasn't anything. Nothing happened, right? But we've woken up today and there are things that have happened. And there's one thing in particular. And this is something that I think everyone is on the edge of their seats waiting to see what the outcome is going to be. So, what is it? I know it's not the front of shirt sponsor yet. Don't worry, I'm going to mention that. But it's the stadium. What's going on? Why have we not heard anything? What's the hold up? Time is ticking. Well, apparently we have an answer, according to Nizar Kinsella. So here it is. There is no major update on the stadium, and I will explain why. It seems, for all intents and purposes, like Chelsea have been waiting to see if an opportunity emerges to take a 44-acre site just north of Stamford Bridge. Now, unless you guys are living in a cave or you actually just don't know, right? That 44-acre site is Earls Court, okay? The Earls Court developmental size is exactly 44 acres, and that is just slightly north of Stamford Bridge, so that is the site. So it's Earls Court. So are Chelsea actually looking to try and take Earls Court? Because my message here is easy and it's clear. I want Earls Court. I would have Earls Court. I love Stamford Bridge. If we had any single possibility to stay at Stamford Bridge and build a monster stadium at Stamford Bridge, I would by all means tell anyone to get lost with any other suggestion. And I would say we are staying at Stamford Bridge. But we have to be real and we have to be truthful. Stamford Bridge can only take a certain capacity. Stamford Bridge cannot hold a 70,000 seater stadium. Impossible. Impossible. Stamford Bridge cannot, say even if we did build a 70,000 and in the future we look to expand to 80, 90, Stamford Bridge cannot allow it. It's impossible. There's so much restriction on the site. Even after taking there were some of the residential houses that belonged to the pensioners basically next to the site at Stamford Bridge, which was bought out, right? So that's extra space. That's still not enough. When people, talk about, oh yeah, but we got that extra bit of land, it's not enough. In order for us to go and actually build, we can push, and this is stretching it. This is really stretching it. We're on a little bit of a tightrope here. 60,000. We cannot go over 60 at Stamford Bridge. Impossible. So what happens in future when all these other teams are now starting to build stadiums close to 100k? We can't. That means we have to move eventually. So let's just move. But the thing is, where? There is no other site except for Earls Court. Now I'm talking in terms of the area. At the end of the day, this is Chelsea Football Club. We don't want to move to Harrow. Or we don't want to move to Surrey. Or we don't want to move to Essex. Like, we are Chelsea. We should be able to try and stay within the vicinity of the area that we belong to. Right? When people talk about Twickenham, for example, yes, that's not too far. But that's a rugby ground that belongs to the England team. That's like a football club trying to come and take Wembley. It's not happening. Belongs to the FA. So Twickenham, That's a pipe dream as far as I'm concerned. It's not happening. And even then, Twickenham is it's a very hard area to access. If you're in London, you'd know. Twickenham is one of those weird areas that it's there, but it's hard to get to. I don't get it anyway. Unless you're on the road, of course, but even then, it's a bit of a trek. But Earls Court ticks all the boxes. It's right down the road. Stamford Bridge is here. Earls Court's right there. So no one's disturbed. Earls Court, on top of that, 3 stations, not just one. Chelsea has Fulham Broadway. That's basically it. Earls Court, 3 stations that are attached to each end of the entire 44-acre site. We have freedom to build a monster stadium there. It's so big, we can. But there's an issue. If we want this site, we need to move. We're not hearing anything. If we want the site, time's ticking. We've got till December before this development plan actually starts being constructed. Once that happens, it's over. Some would even say right now, it's too late. So what are we waiting for? Because like I've said before, this isn't just about getting Earls Court. This is about getting everyone at the club and the CPO on board. The CPO need to give approval. If you remember, even when Roman Abramovich wanted to build a new stadium and we had the whole plan about the cathedral and whatnot, even prior to that, the CPO rejected the claim once. Right? The CPOs are the one you have to go through. Now the CPO isn't just one guy. People think the CPO is this evil person. No, the CPO is thousands and thousands and thousands of pitch owners, Chelsea pitch owners, that will collectively come to a vote and then see if they accept. And in order for something to go through, you must have 75% of the vote go in favour. Any less than that, it's impossible. And that's not down to the CPO. Just because I have to protect the CPO here to an extent. That's English law. British law, it's in the constitution, right? It's in the law. You have to go to Parliament to sort this one out. 75% of the vote is needed in order to get approval on a matter like this. That's not to do the CPO. That's anybody in the UK that has to abide by that rule. 75%. So when people hear 75%, they think, oh, the CPO are a dictatorship. No, it's British law. You can't go around it. If you want to go around it, go and speak to the king. It's as simple as that. And even then, he'd say, no, don't talk to me. Talk to Parliament. And then good luck with that one, because Parliament, I mean, I don't even need to get into that one. But you get the gist. It's a joke. So those are the boundaries. Those are the barriers that we need to hop over. We got to try and do all that in 6 weeks. December is around the corner. So Chelsea need to move. Chelsea internally need to make a decision. Do we want to go for Earls Court? Yes. Okay, now we move. Let's move. Approach Earls Court. Approach the development plan. Approach them. Say, listen, stop everything. We want to acquire the site. What do you need? What do we need to do? Let's come to an agreement. And then even then, look, I don't want this. Personally, I don't want this. But if it's necessary, it's necessary. If it means their redevelopment plan needs to move to Stamford Bridge for us to get Earls Court, for the future and for the better of the football club, that is something that would need to be done. As much as it hurts, it pains. Because Stamford Bridge has been our home for over 100 years. Right? That is... You can't just walk out. But... You either adapt or you perish. You either step up or you step aside. You either get with the times or you get left behind. That's the reality of life. That's not anything that anyone can change. So we need to come to an internal decision first at the club. Are we moving for Earls Court or not? And then approach the Earls Court redevelopment plan. Go to them and tell them what you want to do. At the same time, get the CPO in conversation and let's start talking. Right? That way everyone can come to the same page and go, listen, for the benefit of our football club and for the benefit of having a stadium that we need to compete, we don't have a choice but to move to Earls Court, which is down the road and it doesn't disrupt anyone, in order for us to get a monster stadium that can compete with the other top Premier League clubs. It's as simple as that. We ain't got a choice. I think if that is said, everyone's not stupid. Everyone would understand that. Even the CPO would go, yeah, look, there's no other alternative solution. The alternative solution is we stay at Stamford Bridge and we limit ourselves. But the problem is, like I've said, time is ticking. If we don't do this in the next few weeks, You can forget Earls Court. Earls Court is gone. Goodbye. Goodbye. They're going to start building. Once they start building, it's finished. Good luck. Then we're stuck. Then it's just Stamford Bridge. Then good luck trying to find another site. So I'm trying to find urgency here. I'm trying to find, like, are we moving or not? Because it's all gone cold. We've not heard anything. So we need to move. We need to move. So let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want to go to Earls Court, or do you want to stay at Stamford Bridge after all the information that I have just illustrated for you guys? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. Now, we've not really seen Todd Boehly. We've seen Barley. He's at every game, pretty much. Him and the directors, they're at every game, right? What about Todd Boehly? Well, let's get into it. Here's what he's been up to over in the States. Todd Boehly, who co-owns the Dodgers with Mark Walter, is also part of Walter's deal to buy the Lakers at a $10 billion valuation. In total, Walter and Boehly will hold about 85% of the team. They previously acquired a 27% Lakers stake in 2021. So, I mean, I guess congratulations is in order. Todd Boehly now runs the LA Lakers, basically. Him and Mark Walter, like, they had a minority stake, 27%, that is now going up to 85%. They basically own the club, right? They own the entire franchise at this point. LA Lakers in the bag. So, and that's huge. The LA Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, the most successful NBA team of all time. It's like buying Real Madrid in football. When you look at the NBA, it's the Lakers. That is royalty. Right? They're about to take full control, basically. 85%, that's basically full control. So, yeah, that's what Todd Boehly's been up to. And on top of that, it's not just that. Todd Boehly's been up to other things, and it's in relation to the Dodgers over in the States too. I mean, big financial gains being made on his side of the pond over there. Let's have a look. The Dodgers are the first MLB, so Major League Baseball team, to generate $1 billion in gross revenue, joining the Cowboys, Real Madrid, and Barcelona as teams to hit the mark. I mean, that is pretty mental. Yeah, when you think about it and when you look at it. I'm trying to see the graph here. So the Dodgers in 2024, gate revenue per game is $4.29 million. Second is the New York Yankees at 4.1, and third is the Chicago Cubs at $3.2 million per game. I mean, you see what's baffling? This is how it works in the States. And when I look at us in terms of a new stadium at Chelsea, we're hearing nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, hello? Is there anyone in? You know, like, we got to hurry up because... And this is where I'm going to talk about the front of shirt sponsor. We've had Simon Johnson days ago tell us that the sleeve sponsor's done. And in fact, I showed you guys Lucas Bajek, who did end up putting out a statement later on saying that he got it wrong, right? He said that the sleeve sponsor that we just acquired for the one season was going to be around just under 10 million for the season. Apparently it's not. Apparently it is in the region of about 15 to 18 million or something like that. It's huge. That is for a sleeve sponsor. That is mental. How that was agreed, I don't know. Can we do the same for the shirt sponsor, please? Because that is monstrous. To get like 15 million or something for a sleeve sponsor for a season is outrageous. Simon Johnson, who did come out with that, also came out with the front of shirt sponsor is very close. It's almost done. But we've also heard that for quite a while now, right? So if the sleeve sponsor is anything to go by, then yes, it basically is almost done. But we need to have it done. Like, hurry up. Do you know what I mean? It needs to happen now. Because we're just losing game time, we're losing exposure, we're losing time, we're losing revenue. You know, now if we're able to get a shirt sponsor for the remainder of the season that's going to pay us 50 million, even 45, I would take it for one season. But we need to also look, I would prefer if Chelsea nailed in from now a long-term front of shirt sponsor and we don't need to talk about this again. Cool. Even if it's at this point, even if it's 55 million or something, even if it's just below the 60 mark, you could do worse. If we do get someone for 60 or 65, that is fantastic. Because you're on par with Arsenal and Man City there. with Etihad and Emirates. You're on par, which would be phenomenal, right? But we're losing time. So that is what I want to see happen. And hopefully we have an imminent update in relation to all of that. So let me know your thoughts on all of that. But Todd Boehly over in the States, absolutely killing it right now. So, yeah, congrats to him. Now, Boxing Day. The tradition is over, I'm afraid. It's over. And I get it, but I don't get it. Here it is. The long-standing tradition of watching football on Boxing Day could all be but abandoned by the Premier League this year, with only one match likely to be staged on Boxing Day. So, okay, there's two sides to this. I'm trying to think objectively here. Yeah? I want to be logical. I want to be fair. Footballers have lives, and they got families, and they've got Christmas as well, right? I get that. What normally happens is players don't actually have full Christmas Day with their families. They probably have like a bit of Christmas Day with their families, the morning and whatnot, and then the afternoon, they're basically gone, training, getting ready for Boxing Day. They got to travel, they got to go wherever. Boxing Day, everyone plays. This is now going to be moved to the 27th. So Boxing Day is the day now where all these footballers will leave their homes, and then they'll go to training, then they'll get everything ready, and then they'll travel. And on the 27th, rather than Boxing Day, the 27th, they'll play, and we get all of our football. But that also takes away from the entire country. Boxing Day is a tradition where after Christmas Day, everyone on Boxing Day is basically either, recovering from the food or recovering from the drinking or recovering from the hangovers or recovering from whatever. And everyone's just at home and everything's closed. This is another point. In the UK, like not everything, most things are still kind of closed, right? In terms of Boxing Day, transport is limited, all of these things, which in hand, you could argue that's why it's probably best to move it to the 27th. But Boxing Day is also a day of rest. And if you have the football on, everyone's watching. Now on the 27th, everything's back on as normal. The 27th is a normal day, right? But the Premier League is going to be on. So I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to look. It's never been done. I'm not sure how this is going to be. Is this going to be a good thing? Is this going to be a bad thing? I don't know. But it's a shame. There's also a thing of tradition is tradition. And now this has been taken away. It's like, okay, well, Boxing Day is going to be very boring then. Boxing Day in the UK now is going to be dead. Boxing Day was a day of football. And now it's a day of just nothing. Because like I said, everyone's just at home doing nothing because they're just chilling. 27th, everyone's back and about and doing their normal thing. But now there's football on the 27th. So I don't know. We'll see how that happens. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like it or do you not? What side of the spectrum are you on? Let me know. 26th or 27th? I'd love to know. Now, before we wrap up, there's a couple of things that I want to show you. Firstly, Juventus. We have a managerial update yesterday. Igor Tudor is no longer the coach of Juventus. He has in fact been sacked. And to be honest, this was due. It was going to happen. Juventus have been through more managers than I've had hot dinners. But Tudor was doing pretty poorly. Pretty poorly. Juventus were in the bin, basically, right? Really, really poor results. And I think this was coming. So we'll see what's going to happen. They've hired an interim, but it looks like it looks like they're aiming for Spalletti, which would be a good appointment for Juventus, I reckon, especially within Italy. Spalletti is a decent manager who's done decent in Italy as well. So I expect Juventus to probably go in for him and hire him and maybe start looking forward. That would be nice. So let's see what happens there. And to wrap up, I mean, I am in this part of the world, so I get it. But this is just mind-boggling. Yeah, this is... I struggle to find the words for this one, guys, and I'll tell you why. Here's what Saudi Arabia, for the World Cup, are cooking. Saudi Arabia is set to construct the world's first ever Sky Stadium, officially called Neom Stadium. Suspended 1,150 feet above the ground, the venue is expected to open around 2032 and will host matches for the 2034 World Cup. Look at this. Just look at it. Imagine a stadium that far up in the sky. I've got one issue with this, right? And I'm going to keep this on screen whilst I talk, just so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. How the hell are fans going to get up and down that? Like, in one building, fans are going to have to... I mean, how many lifts or elevators are you going to need for this? To get... I mean, the size of that stadium looks like it's going to be probably 70, 80,000. Maybe, okay, let's call it 60 at minimum. How are you going to get 60,000 people up in that tower? and back down. Can you imagine getting to the game and then leaving the game when the game's over at 90 minutes? You know, you're going to need about 500 elevators and big elevators. Just for that alone makes me think this isn't going to happen. Don't get me wrong. If there's somewhere in the world who would accomplish this, it's here. It's Saudi, it's Qatar, it's the UAE, it's Bahrain, it's Kuwait, it's not Oman. They're trying to do things differently because they want to keep tradition, and I respect that. But they have the facilities for it if they really want to. But it's these countries that would do it. But I'm trying to think logically, and I'm trying to think in terms of logistics. Logistically, how are you going to get 60,000 people up and 60,000 people back down? Mind-blowing. Like I said, you're going to need a lot of lifts, right? A lot of lifts, because it's not people coming in and out gradually. It's people going in at once and all coming out at once. And that's going to cause absolute mayhem. So this has to be done right. But can you imagine a stadium in the sky? How do you even think of that? Like, how has this entered someone's mind? That's my question. I mean, look at it. Can you imagine that? God forbid someone's got a really, really strong kick and then the ball leaves the ground and then it ends up hitting someone on the head or something. That would never happen. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on this. Do you think it's possible or not? I'd love to know. And I'll catch all of you later on tonight for the preview to Wolves versus Chelsea. Make sure you guys are here. Much appreciated for watching. Subscribe, notification bell, and I'll catch you later in a bit. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.